Oh, it's been a horror week for them. Grimsby losing on penalties, having to come from 2-0 down. They are struggling. And I think the big question is, what happens at the top? Ruben Amorim, does he stay? Is it crazy to talk about his future? Should he go? You have a very strong opinion on this, I feel, Darren.
I do. I'm devastated in a way, because I remember when he arrived, I was on the show, I was waxing lyrical about him to you and saying how I think he's going to be exceptional in the Premier League. I've never been so disappointed by someone from whom I expected so much. He'd done brilliantly at Sporting, and it looked very much as though he was going to bring those tactics to Manchester United. But the simple fact is, three at the back has only been successful once in the Premier League, and that's with Chelsea under Antonio Conte, who was exceptional. They can't play this system. They're struggling at the moment, and morale is low. I think Grimsby was rock bottom, and I'm sorry to say this, I don't like to come on the show and say this, but I'll be very surprised if Amorim is the manager in October.
After the Grimsby results, Ruben Amorim was waxing lyrical about how he feels.
To be really honest with you guys, every time that we have in the future, one defeat like that, I'm going to be like that. Sometimes I want to quit. Sometimes I want to be here for 20 years. Sometimes I love to be with my players. Sometimes I don't want to be with him. So, again, I need to improve on that. It's going to be hard. But now I'm focused in the next game.
It's getting all a bit cryptic, isn't it, with some of the comments this week?
Doesn't help. In a moment like this, when any team, and you know this far better than I do, when you're in trouble, when you are struggling, what you need is a clarity of tactics, team selection, and the message that you put out, not just to the media, but to your fans as well, to your players as well. You need clarity. That kind of press conference, if I'm sitting in there, I think, and I'm long enough in the game to be able to say this, it doesn't help him, it doesn't help the players, it doesn't help their situation.
Is it rock bottom or bikini bottom?
It's not rock bottom yet, is it? Because they can still get relegated. So let's be clear with that. Wow. I think the performance they put in against Grimsby, because I've been in those situations where you're playing a lesser team, like you can lose those games, but it's the manner that they lost it in. They shouldn't have got it back, in my opinion, to 2-2. Like it should have been 3-0 before that. And the penalties is, I don't blame the penalties. I just look at the whole performance. You have to run. Like, you can't let a Grimsby team outrun you. Like, play, in many ways, play better football with you. It kind of swung in Man United's turn when Grimsby took off Gardner, the big striker up front, then the ball was coming back, so they had possession. But other than that, Grimsby didn't look like they were panicking too much, to be honest with you.
Which is crazy. The aura Manchester United arrive with should be enough to have them quaking in their boots, and you're saying they weren't panicking. The bikini bottom was a reference to SpongeBob, by the way. I don't know. Oh, you're a fan. Oh, I'm impressed.
I don't watch SpongeBob.
Well, okay, I should have been saying that. I should have been saying that to you. A lot of people are saying, well, after the week that they've had, Burnley is the perfect team for them to be facing. You don't agree. I don't think I agree either, because Burnley would have been looking at the way United conceded and thinking, oh, we can do a little bit of damage here. Yeah,
listen, Manchester United still do have one or two individual talents, but Burnley have a team. They're lesser profile, but they're better organised. The culture is better, the discipline is better, and it would not surprise me if they went to Manchester United and won. That would be another unwanted record for Amorim. They've only lost once in their last 25 matches, Manchester United to Burnley. That was back in 2020. But I think as far as Burnley are concerned, you mentioned this boy, Lyle Taylor, but that is, I forgot his name now.
Jadon Anthony, Josh Cullen.
Thank you very much, Jadon Anthony. And I think as far as Burnley are concerned, Scott Parker's got them well drilled. We all know about their clean sheets from last season. They will not go to Old Trafford and be afraid. United right now are the easiest team to play against in the Premier League.
But the thing is, Darren, for Burnley, it suits them. Like, if you see their goals, they play in transition. They can play with the ball as well, but they don't mind Man United having the ball. When Man United have good possession of the ball, where are the fullbacks? And then they got their attackers to exploit, as we just seen, and they seem like they're going to cause Man United a problem. If I was a Burnley in that team now, I'd be rubbing my hands. I was like, yes, we got Man United at the best time. That's what I would be thinking. Because at the minute, they're very fragile Man United.
The only person I feel sorry for, the guy who hasn't cut his hair. It's going to be longer than this by the time the season's over. Well, still to come, we look ahead to Aston Villa against West Ham. Let's talk about Nuno. Because what happened in the last couple of weeks, the week before the Premier League kicked off, Nuno came out and said, we're nowhere near ready. Then last week, basically, he hinted that perhaps everything is not happy at the club with the hierarchy. There's some tension. And we kind of remembered, there were those scenes last season where the owner, Evangelos Marinakis, went onto the pitch and that was quite talked about. And then before the game, on Sunday, he said, no, I'm definitely the coach of Nottingham Forest. Explain this to me.
Well, the funniest thing is that, as well as saying that there's no problem, he came out and said, this is an absurd media narrative, right? Now, I'm in a senior position at a media platform, so I can tell you this. The one thing we love is information. The one thing we love better was when the information is handed to us on a plate. And that's exactly what Nuno did in those press conferences, because he came out and said, the relationship between me and the owner, it used to be good, but it's not so good. Little Mexican wave of eyebrows in the press conference room because everybody's saying, oh my goodness, you've just given us a story without us even asking for it. And so you can't then turn around and blame the media and claim they're confecting a narrative, a climate around the club that you've created. And what now happens going on from here is that Nuno has to win, because if he doesn't, and if there is a problem with the owner who's not backwards in coming forward or going onto the pitch, then there's going to be a real problem for him.
Yeah, we call that having receipts.
Yes.
No, we have the receipts. OK, Graham Potter's also under pressure, though, for a different reason.
Yeah, he's going to be. I think West Ham, it's been strange in many ways since Declan left. I think when you sell a player for that much money and you don't buy the right players to improve your team after that, I feel like there's always going to be problems. They've never really replaced that midfield area in terms of legs, so they're always getting overrun in there. But I think with the situation now, Jules, I just think, I feel kind of sorry for him. Because yes, people might say tactics and all the rest of it, but at the end of the day, if your team are going to make this many mistakes in a game, it doesn't matter what tactics you have, because those mistakes will be there because they're done by individuals. You can't teach an individual how not to make mistakes. It's just sometimes, unfortunately, a part of football, and he's going through that right now.
I think West Ham lack hunger, discipline, appetite, organisation, and I think you are right. You kind of feel sorry for Potter, but in a way that players are playing as Potter. They're almost an embodiment of Potter's character. He's a very mild-mannered, very easygoing guy. And at the moment, West Ham are very easygoing. I think at the moment, I look at City, I think they're winners of their last 3 at the City ground between the two clubs. I can see the likes of Morgan Gibbs-White strolling through that West Ham midfield and scoring at will. I can see Chris Wood getting on the end of a crossing from the wide area because the back four switched off. There are so many areas where the players currently don't smell danger.
And I think that is the thing. I think if he had the options, he would have most probably subbed them or benched them or not started them the next game. But he doesn't have that.
Through that West Ham midfield and scoring at will. I can see Chris Wood getting on the end of a crossing from the wide area because the back four switched off. There are so many areas where the players currently don't smell danger.
And I think that is the thing. I think if he had the options, he would have most probably subbed them or benched them or not started them the next game. But he doesn't have that platform. So unfortunately for him, he has to just play with what he's got.
Yeah, I think very concerning for him, because after the first game, conceding 3 against Sunderland, he said, defence not good enough, we made some basic mistakes, we didn't defend our box, and then they're going to do that against Chelsea. So as you said, they knew what the problem was. He just physically wasn't able to go onto the pitch and fix it himself.
Yeah, and that sometimes is an issue. And I look back at City last year, so no matter how well at times they were playing, there was a self-destruct button. And they were losing games through people making individual mistakes, and teams were scoring off the back of them. And right now, although West Ham ain't playing as well as City were, these mistakes are still happening.
Darren is so desperate to say something,
Go
but
on,
we
Darren.
have to go to the break, unfortunately. And when we come back,